1. Our wedding night. In the master suite, my wife, Chloe, still in her elaborate wedding gown, stood by the king-sized bed and looked at me. What? You feel like you got the short end of the stick marrying me? Nope, I shrugged. This body, this face, what have those porn stars on your phone got that I don't? She said, starting to unzip her dress. Holy crap. Chloe Davis, you've got no shame. You went through my phone. I ignored the unfolding scenery, absolutely furious. Marriage 101, babe. Don't panic, Chloe said, shrugging out of the gown. Soon, a stunning figure in skimpy lingerie was on full display. But the view did nothing to distract me. Still fuming, I held out my hand. Then give me your phone. Chloe tossed the gown in my face. Casey Miller, I got the looks, the brains, and I'm a VP now. What makes you so high and mighty that you dare look down on me? Didn't want to marry me? That's not it. Don't twist my words, I stammered, guiltily hanging up her dress. We practically grew up in the same crib. You can't fool me. How much you changed after the engagement. You think I'm blind? Chloe stalked over, grabbed my collar, and yanked me down. I nearly racked myself. She whispered, her lips close to my ear, "Don't touch me tonight. I just had an abortion. I'm still recovering." Then she let go, shot me a defiant smirk, and sashayed into the bathroom, leaving me utterly, completely floored. Not because of her nosebleed-inducing body, but because I'd never even slept with her. For her to drop that bomb on our wedding night, that's the kind of thing that could get someone killed. The bitch. Wasn't she afraid I'd actually lose it? And that bitch, even in the bathroom, couldn't resist a parting shot. She turned, leaned against the doorframe, showcasing her impressive cleavage. Oh, and he and I broke up, so don't worry about it. He won't affect our sweet, happy life together. Chloe, what the FUCK is wrong with you? I roar, my fist clenched. What? It's the 21st century. Who doesn't date a few people before getting married? Chloe paused, then gave me a strange look. Oh, right. You've never dated. Sorry, didn't mean to bruise your ego. Chloe, you goddamn know I can't stand you. That I didn't want to marry your sorry ass. Why didn't you refuse when your dad arranged this? I yelled, done with pretending. Then why didn't you refuse? She stood with her hands on her hips, her fair skin practically glowing. Or maybe it was just those killer curves. I looked down, sulking. Screw this. Tomorrow, I'm disappearing. None of you will ever find me. Huh. Chloe scoffed, then clapped sarcastically. Go for it, little bro. You're the best. That hit a nerve. Chloe, you're a bitch. You hold a grudge over some stupid little thing for 10 years. I try to stay away from you. Why do you have to ruin your own life just to get back at me? Casey, you don't actually think I asked my dad to make us get married, do you? If not you, then who? For that stupid crap back then, I was your slave for over a year in high school. Why won't you let go? First, let me be clear. I never mentioned engagement or marriage to my dad. And second, the line of guys chasing me could fill a stadium, all taller and better looking than you. Does your pathetic self really think you're worthy of me? You're a mess. You don't take care of yourself. Don't respect your own body. Whoever marries you is cursed. Same old line. Well, your wish came true. What now? Gonna keep reminding yourself what an unlucky bastard you are. You? Me what? Let me tell you, even when we were in diapers, I couldn't stand you. What right did a big dummy like you have to share a crib with me? And steal my name? What the hell? If you can't stand me, why the hell did you marry me? Not standing you and marrying you aren't mutually exclusive. By the way, if you don't run off tomorrow, I'll look down on you for the rest of my life, bro. Bitch. Asshole. My wedding night. Utterly miserable. 2. I have a name that sounds pretty feminine. Casey Miller. Sigh. I can't even be bothered to complain about it anymore. My dad was in the Army. Figuring that since he'd learned to use a dictionary in the service, he was qualified, he practically wore the thing out picking this great name for me when I was born. What could I say? His explanation was that Casey evoked a feeling of vigilance and bravery, symbolizing hope, beauty, clarity, and wisdom. Of course, that wasn't the main point. The point was Miller was close enough to Millicent, or some other girl's name in his mind if you squinted, and he thought the whole thing sounded like a gem. He said my Uncle David, Chloe's dad, told him Casey and Miller together were a perfect match, signifying brilliance and vast knowledge. Back then, Mr. Davis was a captain, and my dad was his aide. A big shot like Mr. Davis said it was good, so it had to be good. Unbelievable. I found out later Mr. Davis had completely misunderstood the name combo. He'd picked it out for his daughter. Mr. Davis was apparently baffled how my dad knew the name he'd chosen for his own girl. Mr. Davis's daughter, Chloe Davis, is 3 days younger than me. Even more coincidentally, my dad filed my birth certificate first. When Mr. Davis found out, his face went dark. He had to quietly pick a new name for his daughter, changing it to Chloe. My dad's reading comprehension was so bad, he couldn't even figure out his superior's intentions. I have no idea why Mr. Davis valued him so much. He could have named me Gunner or Justice, for crying out loud. An army man with zero awareness. So, not only did I get endless grief over my name, but Chloe also constantly ragged on me for stealing hers. In school, anyone hearing my name for the first time assumed I was a girl. I remember when I started high school, the teacher didn't know everyone's names yet. I was in the honors program. Besides Chloe, who I'd unfortunately known my whole life, only a couple of other people knew me. I aced the first monthly exams, first in the class. The teacher called my name, asked me to stand up so everyone could see the star student. I stood up happily. The teacher and my classmates just stared at me, confused. A stampede of FMLs ran through my head. I said, completely deadpan, "Sir, I'm Casey Miller." You can imagine the scene that followed. The whole class burst out laughing. The teacher was super embarrassed. My moment of glory turned into a total joke, all thanks to my clueless, brown-nosing dad. I used to blame him, but I don't anymore. I cherish the name now, because my dad passed away. He died saving Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis's full name is David Davis, Chloe's father, a decorated colonel who'd gone into the private sector after a distinguished military career. My dad had been his aide from the beginning and followed him ever since. When Mr. Davis transitioned to civilian life, my dad left the army with him and continued to work for him. David Davis trusted my dad implicitly. Bodyguard, driver, personal secretary, my dad did it all. In the military or out, my dad was like David Davis's right-hand man, his shadow. David Davis was well-connected, powerful, and incredibly sharp himself, decisive, and a go-getter. He took advantage of military downsizing initiatives, transitioned to civilian life, and within 2 years, as CEO of a major public corporation, a new wave of privatization hit. The corporation was struggling, on the brink of bankruptcy. No one else dared to take the risk, but David Davis volunteered to take it over. He renamed it Apex Group, retaining 100% ownership. In less than 2 years, under his leadership, Apex Group transformed from a regional player into a national powerhouse, growing bigger and bigger. Then, with the U.S. joining the WTO and the wave of globalization, Apex Group gradually became an industry leader in the country. 3. A few years later, David Davis's net worth put him among the country's top 20 wealthiest individuals. My dad had hitched his wagon to the right star. Everything was looking up. Then, right after my sophomore year finals, David Davis got targeted by business rivals. Back then, things were rougher. It was more of a might makes right kind of world from top to bottom. During one attack, my dad fought like hell to protect Mr. Davis. They escaped, but my dad didn't make it. Mr. and Mrs. Davis were deeply sentimental people. Their whole family, including Chloe, held vigil for my dad. Chloe mourned as deeply as I did, especially Mr. Davis. In those few days, grief-stricken, he visibly lost a ton of weight. Apart from my dad's closest relatives, they were the ones most devastated. At my dad's memorial, David Davis solemnly announced the engagement between me and his daughter, Chloe. And right then and there, he converted my dad's profit-sharing units into actual equity in Apex Group and gave them to me. Not a huge percentage, just 1%. But don't underestimate that 1%. It was worth over $100 million. The annual dividends alone were in the millions. David Davis treated me like his own son. During college, he involved me in company affairs, big and small, took me to all sorts of networking events. It was obvious he was grooming me. My dad, watching from heaven, would surely be incredibly grateful to him. It's just, my fiancée, Chloe. I really didn't want to marry her. Not because she was ugly, Far from it. She was gorgeous, with an amazing figure. Boys had crushes on her since elementary school. But she was a troublemaker from day one, wild, and loved to stir shit up. Especially loved to lie and frame me. A despicable little schemer. We fought constantly from childhood, mutually repulsed. It all started back in second grade. We lived in the military base, housing back then. Because of her dad's rank, our houses were next to each other. Since Mrs. Davis, Chloe's mom, was also a high-ranking officer and very busy, taking care of us naturally fell to my mom, a stay-at-home wife. One day, we went out with a classmate to ride bikes. I knew how to ride, but Chloe, clumsy and timid, just couldn't learn. So, whenever we went biking, she'd sit on the back of my bike, and I'd give her a ride. My classmate happened to bring his little sister along. As we were playing, my classmate's bike broke down, so he had to walk it home. His sister refused to walk. She insisted on riding on the back of my bike. She was whining so much that I got annoyed and agreed. Chloe exploded. She said it was her special seat, and no one else could sit there. She even said the little girl had her own brother, so why was she trying to steal her brother? My classmate's sister was 2 years younger than us, still in kindergarten, but she was a stubborn little thing too. The two of them started arguing. Sigh, we were just kids. Back then, you could give someone a ride while biking. But walking the bike, we weren't strong enough to carry someone, and steering was impossible. We'd easily fall. And Chloe arguing with a kindergartner made me feel so embarrassed. I pulled Chloe away, told her and my classmate to wait there. I'd take his sister home first, get an adult, and then come back for her. Chloe glared at me, her eyes instantly welling up with tears. She cried easily, I knew that. I could feel her hurt, but I really didn't think it was a big deal. Arguing with a kindergartner, it was a joke. Besides, I'd be back for her soon. So, I didn't say much more. As the little girl got on my bike, she even made a face at Chloe. I thought to myself, I'm never bringing this kid out to play again. When I returned with an adult, only my classmate was there. I asked him where Chloe was. He said after I left, his sister, meaning Chloe, went home by herself. I quickly biked back, and from a distance I could hear Chloe sobbing, telling my mom her version of events. She said I abandoned her on the road and even made her fall. What the hell? What did I abandon her? Didn't I say I'd take the classmate's sister home first and then come back for her? The moment I entered our yard, I saw her all dirty. I was dumbfounded. Did she get hit by a car? That was the first time I got a beating because of her, and the first time she framed me. And from that day on, she stopped calling me Big Brother and insisted she was the older one. Of course, that was also when we officially became archenemies. 4. Her parents and my dad were always busy. Even living under the same roof, well, next door, it was common to not see them for 10 days or half a month. They had no time to manage her. So, most of the time, she stayed at our house. My mom, the full-time housewife, was supposed to supervise and take care of her. But my mom, a woman from a small town, was strict with me. Chloe wasn't her biological daughter, though, and she was a girl, David Davis's precious only daughter. My mom wouldn't dare hit her or scold her. How could she possibly control her? Besides, Chloe was a master actress. In front of adults, she was a sweet, obedient little angel. In reality, lies rolled off her tongue. She even had her own parents wrapped around her little finger, let alone my mom, who wasn't exactly a scholar. When it came to framing me, my clueless mom became her greatest ally. Basically, from then on, out of every 10 beatings I got, 8 were her fault. Seriously, because of her, I don't know how many undeserved thrashings I endured. My dad's generation believed in spare the rod, spoil the child. Plus, he was an ex-military man. When it came to disciplining his son, he showed no mercy. The most infuriating part was when I couldn't take it anymore and told the truth, my dad wouldn't believe me. And after Chloe found out her name was originally supposed to be Casey, she'd always sarcastically call me the name thief. Back then, I didn't even want the name. Not only did it sound girly, but it also had more letters than hers. By the time I finished writing my name on exams, other kids were already done with the first section. I was so wronged. She'd fight me for food at dinner, secretly change answers on my homework, so I'd get chewed out by the teacher. I offended her once, and I apologized, but she kept retaliating endlessly. Even a saint has his limits. I put vinegar in her milk. I'd accidentally wear her clean school uniform, leaving my dirty one for her. During school cleanups, I pretend to be mopping and block her path with the mop, getting her shoes dirty. She once picked up the bucket of dirty mop water and splashed it all over my pants, saying, "A prank's only funny if you go all out." She even kicked me as she left. "Chloe, you're a total psycho." I yelped in pain, turning to yell at her. Chloe stopped, turned, and smiled beautifully. "Casey, you started it, remember? But you threw water on me and kicked me. That's called education. I'm educating my little brother. What's wrong with that?" "Holy crap, sister, your little brother here happens to be 3 whole days older. Hope you're not disrespecting seniority with your terms of endearment. Are you worthy? You'll regret this." "What? Planning a rebellion? Gonna bully your big sister? Hee hee, these pants are yours." "Casey Miller, you're wearing my clothes again." Chloe's face changed instantly, and she chased after me, ready to pummel me. I'd have been an idiot not to run. Our relationship only eased up a bit in high school. I was older, going through puberty, and my grades were good. So, unless I committed a capital offense, my dad rarely hit me anymore, mostly just grounded me. Plus, schoolwork got heavier. Neither of us had the energy for those petty squabbles. But the verbal sparring was still a daily routine. No, wait. She framed me once in her sophomore year of high school. I got beaten black and blue. Chloe, somehow, had started smoking like an adult. She even pushed me to try it. Damn it, I learned to smoke from her. By then, we had moved off the base. The neighborhood wasn't as safe. Monday to Friday, she, my mom, and I lived in the school's faculty housing. She got me into smoking. Afraid I'd suspect her, she'd always light the cigarette, take a couple of puffs herself, and then pass it to me. After a while, I laughed at her, saying she was dumb for smoking so long and still not knowing how to blow smoke out her nose. Back then, she'd often hide in my room to smoke with me. One day, same old routine. She lit a cigarette, took 2 puffs, and handed it to me. I hadn't even taken 2 puffs when my dad came home. She quickly snatched the cigarette from my hand, threw it under the bed, and we both sat at the desk, pretending to do homework. My dad opened the door, saw us studying, and didn't disturb us. Just as he was closing the door, his expression suddenly changed. He opened the door again, walked into the room, and sniffed around. Damn bloodhound nose. The cigarette under the bed was instantly exposed. Without even asking, he pulled off his belt and started whipping me. I scrambled around, tried to escape his blows, while Chloe actually sat there, sipping a soda and smiling at me. Furious, I ratted her out. "Uncle, it wasn't me. Casey was smoking. He even made me steal my dad's cigarettes for him." Chloe immediately blurted out. Hearing that, I knew I was done for. She actually turned it around and accused me of making her steal. She walked up to my dad. My dad was over 6'3". She stood on her tiptoes and blew a breath at him. "If you don't believe me, Uncle, smell." Damn it, she just had a soda and only taken 2 puffs before giving me the cigarette. There was no way he'd smell anything. Sure enough, my dad's bloodhound nose failed him, and I got a new charge, corrupting Chloe into stealing. As my dad chased me around, whipping me, he yelled, "Chloe's such a good girl. Instead of teaching her good things, you teach her to steal? You get caught smoking and try to drag her down with you?" I was more wrong than a saint in a den of thieves. After the beating, she was in my room, putting medicine on my welts. Then she whispered, "Casey, you still dare to fight me after this?" I set myself up as bait, all for today. I was stunned. No wonder she always took only 1 or 2 puffs. It was all to get me hooked on smoking so my dad would catch me. By this time, my grades were much better than hers. My parents and her parents praised me often. Her usual little tricks couldn't touch me anymore. Vicious. How could she come up with such a self-destructive plan? A scorched earth tactic just to take me down. 5. Chloe, you evil woman. I curse you to die an old maid. I seethed. She pressed the ointment hard onto my welts, making me tremble with pain. "Ah, childish. If I really can't get married, Casey, I'll just have your dad make you marry me. Think you can escape then?" Impossible. This is the age of free love. My dad has no right to interfere with my marriage. You don't need to worry about that. I have plenty of ways to make your dad forcefully interfere with your marital freedom. Chloe, you're a demon. Whoever marries you is doomed for life. Haha. Well said, Casey. Just you wait to be doomed for life. Chloe stood up, laughing triumphantly down at me. The sunset glow illuminated her, making her look like a victorious general. I started to feel a little scared. If she was determined to play it this way, she really did have ways to make my dad forcefully interfere. For the last year or so of high school, I was sickeningly nice to her. Damn, even a total suck-up wouldn't have been as dedicated as I was. If it weren't for our names being so similar and living so close, people who didn't know better would have thought we were fraternal twins. Otherwise, they'd have reported us to the teachers for dating. And why was I like this? I just hoped we could bury the hatchet, all the resentment built up since childhood. I hoped she'd forgive my younger, stupider self. Forget all those times I cursed her to be alone. Let me go, so she could find her own happiness. And every time I sincerely apologized, she'd first let out this blood-curdling laugh, then airily tell me, "We'll see how you behave." After graduation, I asked her, "Chloe, other guys' sisters are so gentle to their brothers. Why can't you be a little gentler with me? Are you worthy of my gentleness? I'm like this only with you, in front of everyone, because you don't deserve my gentleness." Why? From the day in second grade when you let that little girl sit in my special seat and abandon me, you stopped deserving my gentleness. Holy crap, it's been 10 years, and you still remember that. No matter how long it's been, just tell me, did it happen or not? I was speechless. Then tell me, what do I have to do for you to finally show your pink, softer side to me? Just stop breathing in front of me, and we'll be good. If I'd known then what I knew now, even if someone had held a knife to my throat that day, I wouldn't have let that little girl sit on my bike. Because of that, how many beatings had I endured over the years? Although we fought plenty in private, I always got the short end of the stick. Because if she couldn't win, she'd cry, she'd tattle, and I was guaranteed a good hiding. She endlessly picked fights. I couldn't stand her. Liar, tattletale. But because of our parents' relationship, we couldn't avoid each other. So, we could only hurt each other. After all this time, fighting for 10 years, the root of it all was still that stupid little incident from second grade. For her to hold a grudge to this day, I had to give it to her. Thankfully, for college, I stayed in the States while she went to study abroad. My world was finally peaceful. No more facing her every day. During college, in the 2 years before my dad passed away, she rarely came back, only for a few days during Christmas or major holidays, then she was gone. She seemed very busy. She said she was starting a business overseas, trying to do things beneficial for the U.S. No time to come back. I didn't believe a damn word of it. Her, having such noble sentiments, but I had no proof. Her Instagram was private, even if family, including me. All I could see was her bio. I'm ordinary and simple. Always stubborn, always real. Admitting she's a stubborn mule herself. What more was there to say? The day my dad was buried, she cried so hard she couldn't breathe, completely inconsolable. The expression, the actions, the atmosphere, the emotion, she hogged it all. What was I, the actual son, supposed to do? When Mr. Davis announced our engagement, I really wanted to refuse. But I didn't dare. Although he'd never hit me, I'd been scared of him down to my bones since I was a kid. In my memory, he was always a stern, unsmiling elder. Actually, David Davis was very strict with his own child's education. It wasn't just me. Chloe was terrified of him too. If Chloe made a mistake, he would really hit her, make her kneel. And when he hit her, it was like my dad hitting me. No mercy. Unfortunately, he and Mrs. Davis never had time. My mom mostly raised her, and my mom spoiled her rotten, never said a harsh word to her, even coaxed her to eat. The moment her dad laid a hand on her, she'd run to my mom. When Mr. Davis was disciplining Chloe, Mrs. Davis wouldn't interfere, but she'd follow up with a discussion later. It was a perfect educational tag team. But my mom was a blind protector. Right or wrong, if she saw Chloe getting hit, she'd shield her desperately. She'd even use her own body to block the blows for Chloe. How could Mr. Davis educate her like that? Also, I heard rumors that she not only had a boyfriend, but was supposedly changing boyfriends every other week overseas. I suspected she was definitely dating, but changing boyfriends every other week. That had to be a rumor. Chloe was from a military family, and Mr. Davis was so respected. How could she do something so disgraceful? Besides, if Mr. Davis found out, he'd break her legs. She wouldn't risk it. After my dad passed, she did come back more often. Once, I accidentally overheard her on the phone with someone, sounding like she was telling them she was engaged, had a fiancé. I guess she was definitely breaking up with someone. Chloe was beautiful from a good family. Many guys chased her. In school, because I was around, no one could get close to her. We were separated for college. I was initially glad to be away from her, but hearing she actually had a boyfriend, I felt a little disappointed. 6. I forced myself to recall all her pastelid behaviors towards me. Finally, the old Casey was back. That damn woman held grudges like a champion. Her methods of revenge were also mind-boggling. Setting me up with the smoking incident just to get my dad to beat me. It was terrifying just thinking about it. And she strung me along as her slave for over a year. If we really got together, what if I accidentally did something wrong? And she held it against me for another 10 years. Fortunately, the original plan was to get married after graduation. But Mr. Davis never specified college graduation. So, I went for a master's. Luckily, she also pursued a master's. I sincerely hoped she'd find true love at school and desperately want to marry someone else. Unfortunately, that miracle never happened, and I didn't dare get a girlfriend while engaged, effectively slapping Mr. Davis in the face. My only hope was her. I bet there's no man in the world who wished for his fiancée to find a boyfriend as much as I did. Just as I was preparing to go for my PhD, to buy Chloe a few more years to find her true love, we were forced to get married. See, first day of marriage, and she's already saying such outrageous things. Honestly, I was dying to explode, drag her in front of Mr. Davis, and use this to divorce her. But after calming down, I realized doing so would break Mr. and Mrs. Davis's hearts. Mr. Davis already felt incredibly guilty about my dad's death. His health was deteriorating. If I told him what Chloe had done, it would be like stabbing him in the heart again. He'd feel even more indebted to my dad. He might even die from the shock. Sigh. Damn it. Wedding night. Wife's recovering from an abortion. The baby wasn't mine, and I couldn't fucking say anything. Look up at the heavens. There's no son more filial or more screwed than me in this world. Just have to endure it for now. I have no idea what to do. A few days later. Casey, Chloe, your plane tickets and hotel are booked. We've also arranged a driver and guide for you there. If you need anything once you arrive, just let them know. My mother-in-law, Mrs. Davis, said, Mom, why do we have to go on a honeymoon after getting married? I asked, exasperated. Calling her mom felt natural. Our families have been intertwined for so long, we were practically one. It's what everyone does these days. Mrs. Davis chuckled. So, where are we going for our honeymoon? We booked you for the Maldives. I hear the scenery is beautiful. If you go and like it, next time your dad and I will take your mom, and we'll all go together. I don't want to go to the Maldives. I want to go to Antarctica. My mother-in-law glared at me. Why are you being so difficult? We asked you where you wanted to go. You didn't say. Now that it's booked, you want to change your mind. Grab your things and go. I was speechless. I wanted to go to Antarctica to embrace solitude and extreme cold to toughen my mind. My mom tapped me from behind, interrupting my thoughts. Take care of Chloe over there. If she comes back with even one hair out of place, I'm holding you responsible. Then she handed me my backpack. My mom truly treated Chloe like her own daughter. Chloe's own mother hadn't spent half as much time with her as my mom had. Chloe also dutifully pushed her enormous suitcase towards me. What a curse. I slung the backpack on, grabbed the suitcase, and headed out of the villa. The driver saw us coming and eagerly ran over to take the luggage. After we got in the car, my mother-in-law and my mom started to get in too. Oh, come on. Mom, Mrs. Davis, we're not little kids anymore. We can go by ourselves. I quickly protested. No, I've read a lot of things online. I haven't finished telling you everything yet, my mom said, disgruntled. Relax. I know all that stuff you read. It's chaotic overseas. Don't go out at night. Don't get involved in crowds. Don't haggle if you're not buying. Besides, Chloe lived abroad for so many years, she knows the ropes. Don't worry, I said impatiently. I really didn't want to go on this honeymoon. What if that bitch had some ex-boyfriend waiting for her there? How screwed up would that be? And that bitch was definitely capable of pulling something like that. What else? My mom pressed. Take care of Chloe, right? And stop calling Chloe by her full name all the time. Married couples call each other honey or sweetheart or something. You've read so many books. How come you're getting more clueless? That's all superficial stuff. We care about what's real, not copying others. If you want to come on then. I gave up trying to persuade them. They were just saying things to annoy me. If they wanted to go, fine. On the way to the airport, the three married women chatted happily. I felt like a complete outsider. Especially every laugh from Chloe felt like a jab at my soul. Damn, was she going to drive me into depression? Finally, we reached the airport. Chloe perched on her suitcase and yelled, "Hubby, let's go. Maldives, here we come. How could I bear to see you suffer? It was I who gave you too much freedom. If you want to fly, I'll bear the pain." What the hell? Suddenly, some old emo song about a toxic relationship started playing in my head. What was that about? Like hell I wouldn't bear to see her suffer. I just didn't know her weakness yet, didn't know how to make her suffer. Under the barrage of warnings from our two mothers, I forced a smile and pushed Chloe, still on her suitcase, towards the security checkpoint. What am I going to do? My life. After security, Chloe hopped back on the suitcase. I glanced back at her moms. They saw me look back and waved enthusiastically. I wanted to cry, not because I was touched, but because of this bullshit marriage. 7. At a turn, when they were completely out of sight, I shoved the suitcase Chloe was sitting on. MLM. MLM. Chloe shrieked, clinging to the handle for dear life. Damn it. I quickly chased after it and steadied the suitcase. I was too hasty. Even though they couldn't see us here, they might still hear something. I was annoyed with myself. I'm not going. Casey Miller, are you trying to murder me? Chloe hopped off the suitcase and started walking back the way we came. Round 1, my complete defeat. Chloe, I was just teasing you, adding some fun to our trip. Why are you so mad? I quickly ran up, grabbed her arm, and tried to coax her. You think I don't know what you're thinking. Anyway, I'm not going. You can explain it to our moms yourself. Damn it, Chloe, have some decency, will you? You think I won't tell Dad about your abortion? Go ahead, tell him. I'm not scared, Chloe said, then actually pulled out her phone and handed it to me. I looked at her suspiciously. When did she become so fearless? Didn't care about her legs anymore? Seeing me hesitate, she actually started dialing. I stared at Chloe in disbelief. Was she really not scared, or just pretending? Knowing Dad's temper, if he found out, he'd definitely break her long legs into stumps. The phone was already dialing. Hearing the ring of the unanswered call, my heart leaped into my throat. I could almost see tomorrow's headlines. Apex Group chairman dies of anger at daughter. Apex heiress Chloe Davis's legs broken, permanently disabled. Davis family fortune crumbles due to daughter Chloe's premarital misconduct. The moment the call connected, I snatched the phone. Dad, we're about to board the plane. Be safe. Dad's busy lately, so I couldn't see you off, came Mr. Davis's voice from the other end. Dad, Casey's accusing me of having an Aber. Chloe yelled into the phone, clawing at my hand. I quickly covered her mouth and continued. It's nothing, Dad. I just wanted to let you know. You're busy, so I'll hang up now. Without waiting for a reply, I quickly ended the call. Idiot, Chloe muttered at me after I let her go. I frowned. Chloe was no simpleton. I suspected her wedding night confession about the abortion was a lie. Something like that, even if she accused me of falsely accusing her, could be verified with a trip to the hospital. She wouldn't be so fearless otherwise. Besides, Chloe was good at scheming, the way she baited me into smoking. So my dad would beat me up was proof enough. So, she probably said that just to make me tattle. Then she'd deny it, say I was slandering her, and a hospital visit would prove her innocent. Damn, what a vicious mind. I was certain now, those words on our wedding night were just to piss me off. This was tricky. She had no weaknesses. It would be hard to win against her. Hey, wait a minute. If her private life wasn't what I thought, why even get a divorce? Wasn't Chloe Davis amazing? A solid 5 feet 6 inches, face of an angel, body of a devil, better looking than those A-list celebrities. Why would I divorce her? These past few days, we'd slept in the same bed every night, though nothing happened. But she wasn't particularly shy around me. I knew very well if she was the real deal or not. It's just that my mind wasn't on that those few days, and we were too familiar with each other, so I never thought about it that way. But, damn it, I shouldn't have run my mouth on our wedding night. I should have played along. Now, trying to make peace feels like eating crow. Whatever, let's just see how things go. Anyway, round 2, another complete defeat for me. After much coaxing and cajoling, I finally got her onto the plane. Showdown. We'll wait till we get to the Maldives. Sigh. If only I had a Machiavelli on my side. A direct flight to the Maldives, less than 7 hours. Pretty convenient. I thought a lot on the plane. I remembered hearing rumors that she had a boyfriend abroad and supposedly changed them every other week. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'd personally seen her on the phone having a breakup fight. What exactly was she doing during those 6 years studying abroad? I had to get to the bottom of this. I didn't want to end up like some character in a trashy fanfic, with an ex-boyfriend suddenly appearing, creating all sorts of melodramatic bullshit, torturing me mentally and physically. Then, after the misunderstanding is cleared up, Chloe would go through some dramatic redemption arc. Her big, groveling apology tour. Actually, for someone like me, who grew up with her practically since the crib, maybe after she's thoroughly screwed me over, she really might pull a stunt like those characters in the novels with their epic apology tours. I knew Chloe too well. We were the type. We could fight and bicker all we wanted. I could prank her. She could bully me, that was fine. But outsiders, no way. If we encountered an external enemy, we'd immediately cease our internal war and unite against them. Seriously, kids raised by the same mom, figure of speech, of course, but my mom basically raised her. You think we're that easy to pick off one by one? Thinking of this made me a little happy. Chloe's grovel fest would definitely be super interesting. Hey, hiss, crap, what am I thinking? Am I a masochist or something? Why can't I just live a normal life? Why think about this stuff? People change. I absolutely had to find out what she was doing during those 6 years abroad. And exactly how many ex-boyfriends she had. That also needed to be clarified. If her private life overseas during those 6 years was too messy, this marriage still had to end. As long as there wasn't anything like an abortion involved, just normal dating, Mr. Davis probably wouldn't be too angry. After all, this kind of parent-arranged marriage was an outdated, feudal relic. He should respect our own wishes. If I explained it properly, Mr. Davis wouldn't die of anger, and public opinion would pressure him to agree. Of course, if it was just 1 or 2 boyfriends, and they really had broken up, this marriage could continue. No need to let Mr. Davis know. I believe Chloe would absolutely not betray me within the marriage. I was confident about that much. As soon as we got off the plane, before we even left the airport, I said to her, hey, don't stand so close. We're not quite there yet. Chloe grabbed my arm, tilted her head, and looked at me. What? It's only been 8 hours. Feeling far from home. Thinking you're all that again. Nah, just wouldn't want her boyfriend to see us like this when he shows up, right? I said with a smirk, dripping sarcasm. I decided to test the waters first. Chloe pressed her lips together, looking at me, then suddenly kicked me. You start trouble again, and I'll make you regret it. Hold this. She then pushed her enormous suitcase in front of me. It was full of her stuff. Our moms were watching before, fine, but now she still expected me to be her porter. She glared at me. I could only, for the sake of her being a woman, reluctantly help out. But her reaction, I couldn't quite figure it out. No matter, I had already formulated a perfect hunt down the ex-boyfriend's plan. Even if she didn't say anything, I had ways to lure all her exes to the Maldives. And then, home field advantage, the odds are in my favor. Would I still be afraid of not finding Chloe Davis's weakness? Since we arrived a bit late, the driver and guide arranged for us to stay 1 night in Malé first, and then go to the island resort the next day. After checking into the hotel, Chloe suggested going out for a walk. Casey, want to go out and play? I'll go with you. Mom said not to go out at night. I refused flatly. I hated shopping more than anything in the world. It's still early before it gets dark. By the time you're done getting ready, won't it be dark? Then I won't get ready. Let's go. Chloe grabbed my arm and pulled me out. Actually, when we weren't fighting, we were quite close. In a luxury store in Malé's largest shopping mall, Chloe tapped me with a dress she was holding and whispered, "Hey, I like this one." I frowned slightly. "How much?" Chloe made an 8 gesture with her hand and mouthed dollars. 8,000. I pursed my lips, thought for a moment, and said, "Stick to the plan." Chloe grabbed my collar, gently pulled me down, stood on her tiptoes, and whispered in my ear, "A luxury boutique won't fall for it. Will they? Then we'll upgrade to the tragic, angsty love story version. Just play along with me." Chloe fell silent for a moment, then let go of me and continued browsing. I immediately got into character, starting to act very impatient. Chloe picked and chose, occasionally asking me in English what I thought. It's average. Not good enough for you. Let's go. I said impatiently in English. What about this one? Too flashy. This one, too expensive. And this one, let's go. No time today. We'll come back later. Honey, I really love this one. Can I buy it with the money I earn from my part-time jobs? What? You're out with me and you have to pay for your own clothes. Are you looking down on me? I started to verbally gaslight Chloe, not paying and not letting her buy it. Yes, to successfully haggle down the price at an international boutique, I was willing to sacrifice my image as a peace-loving, gentle soul and play the villain. At my cue, Chloe grabbed my hand and started crying. While crying, she argued with me. I work 3 hard jobs every day, from dawn till dusk, and I can't even buy one dress like this. She was already beautiful, but for some reason, she looked even more beautiful when she cried. A tear falling from her expressive eyes was both heartbreaking and beautiful, making you want to hug her. I shook her hand off. She fell to the ground dramatically. So pitiful. The surrounding staff and customers couldn't watch anymore. The store manager even called the general manager. But the professionalism of international brand staff was evident. They didn't lecture me, just kept comforting Chloe. The international tourists were different from people back home too. They just watched from a distance. If this had happened in the U.S., you'd be surrounded 3 layers deep in minutes. Of course, it was also because there were many Europeans and Americans here. They were probably worried this Chinese-American guy would suddenly pull out a weapon and spray them all. After all, Chinese people were currently categorized internationally as somewhat barbaric. Thinking of this, I grinned and strolled to the entrance. I took out a cigarette, lit it, and took a puff. Instantly, several female staff members surrounded me, strongly demanding I put out the cigarette, saying smoking was prohibited inside. Their attitude was like I'd committed some unforgivable crime. I wasn't going to not put it out. Did they need to make such a big fuss? The handsome manager, who had a bit of a British vibe, glanced at me. Although his eyes showed no emotion, I knew he was annoyed with me. He helped Chloe up, sighed, and then gently said to her, "Miss, this dress is my treat." Chloe was stunned, looking at me with surprise and disbelief, then quickly said apologetically to the manager, "Thank you for your kindness, but I can't accept such a gift. We were just hoping for a discount." I hadn't expected the plot to develop this way either. I walked over, took Chloe's hand, and was about to leave. Did I look like I was short on cash? I could buy out his entire store without blinking an eye. It's just that we'd spent years with my mom, who loved to haggle, and were deeply influenced. If we bought something without getting a discount, especially clothes and shoes, it always felt like a loss. Miss, please wait a moment," the manager called out from behind. Chloe let go of my hand and stopped. Damn it, she sees a handsome guy and can't walk straight. Contempt for Chloe immediately rose in my heart. "I'm sorry, I was presumptuous just now, but I had no other intentions. How about this? I'm the manager of this department store. I have a senior staff discount of 20%. I can authorize it for you," the manager said sincerely. A 20% staff discount meant 20% off. Chloe's eyes instantly lit up. She quickly asked, "For this store? Or this entire department store?" "Yes, as you wish. All merchandise in this department store, from luxury goods to local souvenirs and various handmade crafts. The discount applies to everything. No restrictions?" "None." Chloe bowed excitedly to the manager. "Meeting you is the luckiest thing that happened to me today." "Oh, beautiful lady, the pleasure is all mine." They chatted warmly for a while, then started exchanging numbers. My face darkened. Those 6 years studying abroad had indeed corrupted Chloe, giving her that typical studied abroad air. Acting so fake yet overly enthusiastic with someone she just met. Chloe turned and smiled at me. I couldn't be bothered to respond. She ignored me and started a new round of massive shopping. For me, her, Mr. Davis, Mrs. Davis, and my mom. From inside out, top to bottom, shoes on our feet, bags in our hands, backpacks on our backs, purses on our hips. We bought something from every well-known luxury store on that floor. Finally, she waved casually at me. I strode forward, coolly took out my black card, swiped it. Converted to US dollars, over $1 million gone. Everyone present was dumbfounded. How did this guy suddenly become so generous? Chloe even sweet-talked that handsome manager into giving us a ton of freebies. Perfume samples, wallets, toiletry bags, belts, art books, a huge pile. My mom absolutely loved these free gifts. No matter how many, she'd find a use for them. Of course, this was also thanks to my mom, who had taught Chloe to be very frugal. I clearly noticed the manager's micro-expressions. How to put it? There was shock, confusion, disappointment, even some apprehension. And maybe a hint of disgust. After all, the way Chloe wheedled for those freebies. Sigh, what a waste of such a beautiful face. We spent too much time there. After giving the stores our shipping addresses, we grabbed a quick bite and returned to the hotel. It was already late at night. I always showered first than she did, because she took too long in the shower, and I couldn't be bothered to wait. While she was showering, I tried a few passwords on her phone. When I hit the attempt limit, I put it back. Too many wrong tries and the phone would lock, then I'd be dead. I looked at the clothes discarded on the sofa, listened to the sound of running water from the bathroom. It was strange. We've been sleeping in the same bed every day these past few days, especially since she slept naked. Yet why did I have absolutely no desire to commit any crimes? Clearly, those actresses in my video stash had taught me plenty. Was Chloe lacking? That manager today, meeting her for the first time, offered to spend thousands for her on their first exchange. Over $8,000. That's a significant sum. Of course, for Chloe and me, a few grand was chump change. But we grew up on a military base. We were the kind of people who wouldn't leave a single grain of rice on the table. If we did, our parents would scold us and make us pick it up and eat it. Especially since we were both raised under the influence of a very frugal mother. We knew very well the difference between a few bucks and tens of thousands, and we knew their value. If that manager hadn't been captivated by Chloe's beauty, if he hadn't thought he could save her, would he have been willing to spend tens of thousands with no guarantee of anything in return, just to make a good impression? So, Chloe's beauty was internationally recognized, not just my biased opinion. But the reality was, we were too familiar. So familiar that pulling down her pants would make me feel incredibly awkward. Sigh. Sleep. First, figure out how many ex-boyfriends she had during those 6 years abroad. The next day, she woke up early, called a guide and driver to postpone our island trip, and dragged me back to that mall. I bought an electric wheelchair. I really couldn't keep up with her. I desperately needed a wheelchair for assistance. Of course, this also meant she now had a mobile, human-powered sofa. The two of us, stacked on the wheelchair, spent money like water, instantly becoming the hottest sight in the mall. I told her to call her friends, offer to buy things for them. That way, we could earn a 20% commission. Her eyes instantly lit up, and she started making calls and sending emails nonstop. I was also secretly pleased. My original plan was to encourage her to post more on social media once we got to the island, so more people would know her whereabouts. That way, those ex-boyfriends could sniff her out. Now, even better, Chloe wanted to make more money, so she'd definitely notify more people. Thus, more people would know her real-time location. It would be easier for her ex-boyfriends to find her. We stayed in Malé, the capital of the Maldives, for 7 days, spending nearly $15 million in total. The president of the mall even met with us personally. He negotiated a contract with us for even lower, more comprehensive discounts. The contract was incredibly detailed, covering all product categories and all discount types like cash discounts, volume discounts, seasonal discounts, all clearly defined. I looked it over. Different categories had different discounts, some as low as 70% off. They even set up a dedicated liaison department for us there. Damn. I glanced at Chloe, who was also looking at me. I had a feeling we were going to go far down this road of personal shopping and reselling. Signed it. Had to sign it. Only a fool wouldn't make money when it's offered. Actually, it's easy for rich people to make money because they have enough high-quality connections. We rented a small one-bedroom apartment there and stayed for over a month. We'd long since dismissed the driver and guide. Not only did we earn back all the money we spent, but we even had a few million in profit. And we also obtained Maldivian residency permits, green cards, basically. We could come and go anytime, stay as long as we wanted. This honeymoon, who else could top it? I was somewhat relieved that none of Chloe's ex-boyfriends showed up. I suspected she didn't even have any ex-boyfriends. Rumors couldn't be trusted. My attitude also changed, and I started getting handsy with Chloe. Damn it, married for so long, and we hadn't even done the deed. Chloe didn't reject my advances. Naturally, I progressed to a more intimate relationship with her without any obstacles. After we slept together, she told me a story. It was a long story, but the gist of it was she lost her virginity accidentally during bicycle training. I didn't know if she was lying to me. She'd lied to me plenty of times since we were kids. I asked her what she did during her 6 years of college. She told me she was dedicated to promoting cultural exchange. I looked at her social media. Nothing special, really. I thought there would be tons of secrets, making such a big mystery out of it. I thought your feed was full of scandalous stuff. Casey Miller, you were the one who wanted to draw a line with me first. I crossed an ocean to study in America, and you didn't even call me once. Why should I let you see my posts? Besides, didn't you block me too? Chloe, have you no conscience? You played me like a fool for 3 semesters. You didn't call me, so why should I call you? That's because you're immature, with terrible reading comprehension. I'm working on my PhD. So impressive. Are you? Getting a PhD and still wearing SpongeBob pajamas. Chloe said, glancing at my PJs. Comrade Chloe, my mom bought these. And let's keep this conversation civil. Please don't resort to personal attacks, I said, embarrassed but trying to sound serious. Chloe smacked me on the head. That's a personal attack. Please don't slander me. It hurt, I said, annoyed. Chloe, can you not be so violent all the time? Since we were kids, if you couldn't win, you'd hit. If you couldn't win by hitting, you'd cry. Can't you just win against me fair and square for once? Haha, that's hilarious. Have you ever won against me? Who's the one who always ends up getting beaten? That's because your methods are despicable and low. That's called all's fair in war. You despicable, evil woman. I curse you. Whoever marries you is doomed for life. I blurted out, pushed to my limit. The moment I said it, I realized I married her. The one doomed for life was me. Chloe looked at me like I was an idiot, then suddenly knelt on the bed, grabbed me with one hand, and started patting my head repeatedly with the other. Are you childish? Are you? Quick, say Jinx 3 times. Jinx, Jinx, Jinx. Chloe, if you hit me again, I'm hitting back. Though annoyed, I still did as she said. Chloe ignored me and kept patting my head. I quickly dodged. Still want to hit back. You hurt me so much earlier, and I endured it. What's wrong with me hitting you a few times? Chloe stopped abruptly. We both felt awkward. Sorry, it was my first time. As if it wasn't everyone's first time. Chloe mumbled, then lay down, turned her back to me, pulled up the covers, and ignored me. I slipped into bed, hugged her from behind, and coaxed, I'm sorry, honey. Then I gently pulled the blanket up, habitually covered her head, and farted. Instantly, the room erupted into another chaotic chase. I hated it most when she called me childish. Although that fart was a bit ill-timed, well, it just happened to be there. Some experts say smelling farts can delay aging and even fight cancer. Anyway, my love for Chloe is all in the details. 10. The next few days, having tasted the forbidden fruit, we didn't leave the room for 3 days. Well, to be precise, we barely left the bed. Suddenly, I had an idea. Back home, e-commerce platforms were already booming. I thought we could build an overseas personal shopping platform. Building websites and coding were my forte. Design was Chloe's major, so that was a given. After I told Mr. Davis my idea, he flew over with Mrs. Davis and my mom to check things out. Then they bought us a small island, close to Malé, over 60,000 square feet, for less than $1.5 million US. Our villa back home, our wedding gift, cost that much, and the basic infrastructure on the island was already done. Of course, the president of that Malé Mall helped a lot with this, especially since the Maldives weren't as popular back then as they became later. Most islands were only for lease, not for sale. A few years ago, a very heartwarming animated movie came out in the U.S., featuring a pig named Wilbur. Wilbur had a paradise in his heart he always wanted to go to. He said it had blue skies, white clouds, coconut groves, shimmering seas, and white sandy beaches. He was talking about the Maldives. Because he wanted to go to the Maldives became known to everyone in the U.S. But the American economy was still gradually recovering. People were coming, but not in droves yet. Americans being Americans, once the economy picked up and the real estate frenzy started. At these prices, you probably couldn't even buy a condo in a decent neighborhood here. That's also why our purchase of over $100 million in goods was worth the personal attention of that mall president. Mr. and Mrs. Davis were busy people. After helping us sort these things out, they left. My mom and Chloe went to the island. I, on the other hand, moved into a larger 2-bedroom apartment, one for sleeping, one as an office, to focus on building the website. About half a month later, Chloe came back. The island design was mostly done, leaving my mom there to supervise the construction. Chloe came back to shoot material and design the website, and she brought a guy named Ethan Vance back with her. She said he was a fellow American student from her time abroad, very talented in visual arts. This was the first time I'd met one of her male classmates from overseas. I met a few female ones, but this guy was handsome with great taste in clothes. I looked down at my floral swim trunks and flip-flops and suddenly felt quite uncouth. I quickly went back to the bedroom and came out wearing a Hawaiian shirt. The man had a hearty laugh. He smiled at Chloe and said, "Chloe, your husband is indeed as you described, very sunny and easygoing. Really nice." Haha, well, he's just a bit childish sometimes, Chloe, dressed elegantly, said with a familiar pat on the man's arm. I suddenly felt like they looked really good together. I had to admit, this guy was indeed a tiny bit more handsome than me, and taller too. Hiss. And Chloe's comment put me down a notch. I started to feel a bit annoyed. But for a classmate Chloe would call over to help, their relationship must be pretty solid. I couldn't very well contradict her in front of someone else. This guy, Ethan, also started staying in our apartment from that day on. Not to save money, but mainly for work convenience. No need to commute back and forth. We converted the bedroom we turned into an office back into a bedroom. The office moved to the living room. At night, lying in bed, I thought, this Ethan guy was very warm. Really, I quite liked him. But over the next few days of getting to know him, I realized something was off about this Ethan guy. He seemed to know me very well, my hobbies, what I like to eat, even my daily habits. He was familiar with all of it, especially whenever we went out to eat. The dishes he ordered were always my favorites. I never met him before. Also, he was super considerate of me, always mindful of my mood. Something was wrong. There was definitely a big problem here. Did he like men? Or rather, did he like me? Otherwise, how could he observe me so meticulously in just a few days? It didn't make sense. And people in visual arts, they often have that kind of inclination. Hiss. I shivered. What's wrong? Chloe, sleeping next to me, asked. That? Nothing. Sleep, I said, turning over to face away from her. This wasn't easy to talk about. They were classmates, and from their interactions these past few days, I could tell they were good friends. If she found out her male friend had a thing for her husband. Hiss. Damn it. This was really awkward. Actually, I'm not bad looking, and I'm reasonably fit. My only flaw is I'm not one of those 6-foot-plus guys. Ethan was 6'1". Standing next to him, I felt weirdly petite. My dad was over 6'3". My mom was 5'4". Why was I only 5'9"? Chloe was 5'6". If she wore even slightly heeled shoes, standing apart, she looked taller than me. How did the genes mutate so drastically when they got to me? Suddenly, I felt a bit hungry. I asked Chloe if she wanted ramen. She said no. So, I got up to make some ramen myself. Coincidentally, he was still working overtime. No one asked him to, but he was still working hard. When he saw me get up and found out I was hungry, he immediately got up to make ramen for me. I couldn't even stop him. He even knew I had to have fried eggs with my noodles and thoughtfully fried too for me. Holy crap, I'm married. Ugh, married or not, it's impossible. I'm a man. I ate my noodles while he sat opposite me, watching. Cough, cough. My heart was pounding so hard from nervousness that I accidentally choked. Ethan saw this, quickly got up, poured me a glass of water, and handed it over. I didn't quite dare to look at him. I flusteredly took the water. Eat slowly, don't rush, he said softly. Damn it, this is killing me. I wolfed down the noodles in record time, just to escape. After all, 2 men alone. Oh no, I couldn't think of an idiom to describe my current situation and mood. Chloe said you've always liked to argue with her since you were kids. Actually, I find it quite cute. Here, drink some water. Be careful not to choke, Ethan said with a smile. Choke your mom. Your whole family is cute. I got up to clear the bowl. He stopped me, took the bowl and chopsticks from my hand, and handed me a napkin. Go to bed. It's oily, I'll wash it. I walked into the bedroom, somewhat dazed. Chloe was asleep. I lay in bed, unable to sleep. I'd never experienced anything like this. I didn't know whether to tell Chloe, and, crucially, how would I even tell her? 11. An hour later, I got up and peered from the window. The living room light was still on. This guy was more composed than me, and a hard worker. I kind of wanted to go out and remind him to balance work and rest, that the website wasn't urgent, the resources weren't going anywhere. But I was afraid he'd misunderstand, think I was interested in him. I started smoking, frustrated. Sigh. Being secretly admired is such a pain, especially by a guy. The next morning, I had dark circles under my eyes. Eating the nutritious breakfast he made, drinking the milk he handed me, I didn't dare make eye contact with him the entire time. Only after he and Chloe left to shoot material did I take a deep breath and relax. What the hell was all this? I had to find a way to show him, through my actions, that I liked women. Also, I needed to work overtime, finish this website ASAP, and in this weird, awkward atmosphere. At noon, they came back, brought me lunch and a cup of coffee. I picked up a small pig stuffed animal, walked over to Chloe, who was resting on the sofa, and asked, "What's this?" Chloe replied without thinking, "A pig." "Say it again." Chloe frowned at me. "We have a guest. Don't mess around." "Okay." "Say it again." "Pig." "Say it longer." Chloe took a deep breath. "Pig." I quickly leaned in and kissed her pouting lips. In my peripheral vision, I saw Ethan resting on the other sofa, clearly stunned. Yes, that was the effect I wanted. "I'm straight, buddy." Chloe didn't expect me to kiss her, especially in front of an outsider. Her face instantly turned red. She glared at me, then explained to Ethan, "My husband is a bit childish, always messing around. No sense of occasion." Haha, true virtue never departs. It returns to a state of infancy. Your husband has a pure, natural, transcendent mindset. "That's very good," Ethan said, recovering with a smile. Sigh, I could feel Ethan's awkwardness. No choice. He was genuinely talented, with a good personality. I actually liked him. But this was definitely not love. A few more rounds of public displays of affection. Hopefully he'd understand I liked women. In the following days, my cheesy pickup lines became incredibly smooth. I even impressed myself. I had to come back for everything. Ethan's mood was clearly very low. "Sigh, what could I do?" At night, when we were in bed, Chloe said to me, "Can you please take your hand off my heart?" "No, because I need to make sure I'm in your heart," I said cheekily. Chloe took a deep breath, speechless. "Casey Miller, you're disgusting me." "Does my love disgust you?" "Damn it. You want to play, huh?" "And no, it's not playing. I love you so much I can't help myself. You're just plain horny. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Don't you know that?" "Yeah, I know. It means you're horny whenever you have time, right?" "Holy crap, Chloe, you're good." "Of course I am. But whether you're good, I can tell from your morning state. Up and at him at the crack of dawn. Definitely not a late sleeper." "Chloe, you've changed." "Changed into loving you more?" "Damn, Chloe, you're so forward." I propped myself up, somewhat shocked. "Not as forward as you." I wanted to ask, where did you learn so many risque lines lately? Chloe asked, looking at me. "Online. Don't you like cheesy pickup lines?" "I like them, but these are private things. We can play around in private. I'll play with you. But with outsiders around, you're making it really embarrassing." So I didn't want to either, but I had to let someone see that I really only loved women. "What are you sighing about? I'm your wife. I'll never betray you, and I'll never run off with someone else. Don't you have that much confidence?" Chloe pinched me. "No, of course I have that confidence. It's just, forget it, it's hard to explain," I said, wincing, a bit embarrassed. Chloe pushed me down, then climbed on top of me and hugged me. "I'll only love you in this lifetime, and I'll only belong to you. Don't worry." Sigh. My wife definitely misunderstood. She thought I was jealous. If I told her the truth, she'd probably be the jealous one. But it was hard to tell her this. If I did, she probably wouldn't believe me anyway. Indeed, if I hadn't experienced it myself, who would believe it? Now, Ethan's attitude towards me had clearly changed a lot. Everything was moving in the right direction. He was actually a friend worth having. I didn't want this to cause a fallout where no one could save face, and we'd end up cutting ties. Chloe and I had many similarities in personality, hobbies, and character. She was just a bit more introverted than me. So, friends she liked, I'd most likely like too. True childhood sweethearts, the kind who really grow up together, like those epic literary romances. They play together from childhood, eat at the same table, sleep in the same bed, figuratively speaking. Or like those couples in all those high school dramas who've known each other since kindergarten, never separated. Their parents know each other and interact. There's a high probability they'll end up together. Not to mention Chloe and me, practically raised by the same mom. During her 6 years abroad, although we weren't in the same place, our connection generally wasn't broken. Though I was a bit resentful in the first 2 years. Felt like she played me, made me her slave for over a year. I was unwilling and somewhat resistant to contacting her. But in reality, our families were already like one big family. How could we truly not stay in touch? Later, after my dad passed away, she started coming back much more frequently, flying back to be with me whenever she had time. Of course, I was quite touched at first. But after a while, I felt like she was just bored overseas and deliberately came back to argue with me. But now, having resolved my own doubts and recognized my true feelings, I realized I really loved her and she loved me too. I had no response to her words, just kissed her. She patted me. Go wash your hands. When women get suggestive, men don't stand a chance. 12. It took me over 3 months, but the website was basically complete. I did it all myself. A PhD-level intellect isn't just for show. Because an online mall is much more complex than a simple website. It requires developers to understand database operations, front-end and back-end development. It involves a lot of knowledge and a huge workload. Without some serious skills, it's hard for one person to do it. Even if they could, it would probably take at least half a year. Casey, you're the most determined and capable person I've ever met. In anyone else's hands, even a team, they probably wouldn't have finished this website as quickly as you did. Ethan praised sincerely. You're exaggerating. I just tinkered with it. Haven't touched a computer in ages. I'm rusty, I replied modestly. Ethan's mouth twitched. He didn't know how to respond for a moment. Chloe also facepalmed, not wanting the awkward silence, so she suggested, how about this? We've been in the Maldives for so long and haven't even been to an island resort. Why don't we go play? Great idea. Man, if you hadn't said it, I'd have forgotten we were on our honeymoon. I immediately agreed, then turned to Ethan. Consider it keeping us company. We'll have a good drink then. Actually, Chloe and I had planned this. This island trip was mainly to entertain Ethan. After this, he was leaving. He helped us so much. Money was a separate issue. Showing him a good time was about social grace. But we were afraid he'd feel awkward if we made it too obvious. So we deliberately said he was keeping us company. And among the 3 of us, only Chloe had been to an island, the one we bought. Ethan hadn't been to an island either. The day Chloe came back, she picked him up from the airport and came straight to the apartment. Of course, I hadn't been to our island either. I'd only seen it on a map. I was responsible for shipping for our reselling business. I didn't have much time to go with them. These past few months, Chloe handled the shipping, but I wasn't idle either. Waking up at 6 a.m., sleeping at midnight, sitting in front of the computer coding all day. So I also needed to relax. We chose a well-developed, famous island. Chloe thought we should bring my mom over. I disagreed. What fun would that be? Young people need to have their own fun. If my mom came, she'd definitely say, we have our own island. Why spend money on someone else's? So, she definitely wouldn't agree to us going to another island. That would be such a downer. Besides, this was mainly to entertain Ethan. My mom was still supervising construction on our island, coming over every 10 days or so to improve our meals. Actually, Chloe and I had known how to cook since we were kids, and we were both good at it. My mom just bought more groceries. We still did the cooking. Ethan could only make breakfast or maybe soup. He could cook main meals, but they weren't very good. But he made exceptionally good fried eggs. Sigh, what pity. Handsome and good at frying eggs. Why did he have to like men? My future kids will definitely not be allowed to study art. The next day, we prepared to go to the island for a few days. I saw Ethan standing alone on the deck, the sea breeze ruffling his hair, looking a bit lonely. A wave of melancholy washed over me, the kind that always comes before a goodbye. I knew he must be reluctant to leave, but I really couldn't do anything about it. Couldn't accept it, absolutely couldn't. I rubbed my face. Regardless, I had to thank him. He put a lot of effort into the website's visual effects. I brought him a glass of red wine, walked over, and handed it to him. I had a soda myself. I don't like drinking unless it's mixed with Sprite. Actually, people, how to put it? I'm not good with words, can't give any profound advice. But you've seen Chloe and I are married. She loves me very much, and I love her very much. As for you, the future is long. Living your own life, well, is what's most important. I thought I made myself very clear. He should understand. You knew. Ethan looked at me, shocked. His stare made me a bit nervous. Please don't confess to me, I thought. Otherwise, I'd definitely kick him into the sea. It was so obvious. How could I not see it? Right. I'm sorry, Ethan said awkwardly. Phew, it's okay. Love, you should express it bravely. Speaking of which, I actually admire you, I said, relieved. It was good to have it out in the open. Ethan stared at me for a long time. I got nervous again, gulping down my soda. Then he said, Casey, you're really a good guy. No wonder Chloe cares about you so much. She warned me not to tell you. Said if you knew, you'd make endless trouble. Holy crap, I thought. I was still hesitating whether to tell her, and she already knew and didn't tell me. It's okay. It's all in the past. Yeah, it's all in the past. Spending so much time with you guys, seeing you so happy, I can finally let go of my obsession with Chloe. Good to let go, but I still suggest you try dating a woman. Maybe you'll find women are actually pretty amazing. Hearing this, my heart finally settled, but I missed whether he said Casey or Chloe. Ethan was clearly stunned for a moment, then recovered and continued. Oh, haha, I will. I wish you both eternal happiness. Ethan raised his wine glass and clinked it against my soda. I downed my soda in one gulp. This troublesome matter was finally resolved. Worth celebrating. Suddenly, I realized something was wrong. Wait, did you just say you'd let go of your obsession with Chloe? Yeah, we dated briefly during our sophomore year. Later, because your dad passed away, she broke up with me abruptly. I thought her family was forcing her into an arranged marriage. Holy shit. My God, this was not how the script was supposed to go. Ethan saw my mood change and quickly asked, What's wrong? Casey, didn't you already know? I know Jack shit. I cursed, furious. Damn it, you two timing snakes, you brought this shit right to my doorstep. Eating my food, living in my house, using my stuff, and then, God damn it, you come here to screw with me? Divorce. I'll grant you your wish, you damn cheaters. Ethan panicked. Casey, what's wrong with you? Didn't you know about us? And you were just counseling me. Counseling your ass. Don't call me Casey, I don't know you that well. Call me Mr. Miller, damn it. I turned and walked away, as if I'd made some decision, leaving Ethan stunned in the sea breeze. I'm going home to Mom. I went to the cockpit and told the pilot to turn around back to our island. I'm done with this honeymoon. This whole honeymoon trip was a sham, all for Chloe's ex-boyfriend. I was an idiot for even coming. A few minutes later, Chloe and Ethan found me in the cockpit. Casey, nothing happened between Ethan and me. I called him here because he could really help us, Chloe explained. I ignored her, leaning against the window, smoking. I always thought that son of a bitch Ethan liked me. Turns out, he was after my wife. No wonder he made such good fried eggs. It wasn't just me who liked them. Chloe loved them too. What bullshit about him ordering all my favorite dishes. Chloe's favorite foods were basically the same as mine. What crap about him knowing my hobbies, interests, habits? It was all because of Chloe, obviously. Son of a bitch, playing a masterful game of deception, pulling the wool over my eyes, a real bait and switch. Thinking about how I'd been coding day and night for over 3 months, while these two bastards went shopping together every morning. Just thinking about it made me furious. 13. Chloe saw I wasn't talking and told the pilot in English to change course again. Chloe, what are you doing? I want to go home. I want to go to my mom's. We haven't even started our honeymoon trip yet. Ethan is leaving soon. Besides, the island is already booked. Be good. I'll explain everything properly tonight, okay? Chloe knew my temper, so she deliberately didn't mention that we were going because Ethan hadn't been to an island. What does his leaving have to do with me? I'll even double his pay. Thanks for taking care of my wife and shopping with her these past few months while I was busy, I said sarcastically. Casey, we were taking photos of products for marketing materials. If you don't believe me, you can check the mall's security footage. We never left the mall these past few months. We were always working, Ethan quickly explained. Call me Mr. Miller, I roared. Chloe quickly interjected, Casey, I know you're very angry right now, but this isn't the time. Ethan came all this way to help. Please don't embarrass him too much, okay? Please, honey. I wanted to say, are you that concerned about your ex-boyfriend? But when I looked up, my eyes suddenly met Ethan's. My heart nearly skipped a beat. This guy, this dejected look, why'd he look so damn good? Realizing my thoughts were straying, I immediately turned to Chloe. Ahem, I'm absolutely not going to this island. What kind of couple brings an ex-boyfriend on their honeymoon? If word gets out, it'll be a huge embarrassment for me. You can't just leave him at home while we go out and have fun, can you? He can help with shipping at the mall if he's free. TSK. Casey Miller, do me a favor. Stop making a scene for now, okay? No. I put out my cigarette and turned to look at the sea view outside the window. Where in the world was there such a handsome man? Chloe lost her temper too, dragging me out of the cockpit by force and then pulling me into our room. Casey, there are some things I can't say in front of him. Back then, you were always fighting with me and even set your social media to private for me. I was very angry, and you were too immature. You didn't understand that we had already become inseparable. So, I wanted to pretend to have a boyfriend to awaken your feelings. Really, I can swear to God, you are my first man, and you will be my last. I'm not lying to you, Chloe said, holding my hand. You're a liar. Every time you say you're not lying, you end up lying to me, I mumbled. Chloe suddenly burst out laughing, but quickly suppressed it. See, you're still laughing. I'm sorry, I won't laugh. I absolutely won't laugh anymore. You said you lost your virginity riding a bike. That was a lie, wasn't it? I gave it my first time. That bike thing really happened. It's all your fault for giving my special back seat to someone else when we were kids. That's why I joined the cycling club in college, thinking that when we biked together, you wouldn't even see my taillights. Hee hee. Stop grinning like an idiot. I refuse to talk to you right now. Even if this boat reaches the island, I'm not getting off. I'm going to find my mom. And you always say I'm immature. Am I immature? I built the e-commerce website by myself in just over 3 months. Can an ordinary person do that? I never said you weren't capable. We grew up together, childhood sweethearts. How could I not understand you? So, the childhood buddy loses out to the new guy, huh? Talking to you is exhausting. I can tell you very seriously, nothing happened between Ethan and me. We didn't even hold hands. We just took a few pictures together and posted them online. My intention was to have someone pass the message to you, but then Dad suddenly got sick, so I immediately deleted them, explained things to him, and rushed back. After that, I always kept my distance from him and clearly told him I had a fiancée. If you don't believe me, you can pick any name from my old classmate directory. I'll call them, and you can tell me what to say. How about that? Chloe explained for a long time, but seeing I wasn't responding, she directly took out her own phone. Calm down first. Here's my phone. Whether you want to send texts or make calls, I'll cooperate. Whatever you want to ask, whatever you want to check, feel free. I knew Chloe very well. We both came from military families, grew up around soldiers. Though mischievous, her principles were very strong. Besides, she was being so open. I still trusted her, but she didn't know I was angry about more than just this one thing. There was another matter, but that one was too embarrassing to mention, and it was clearly me just being delusional. Damn it all. I don't want to live anymore. But I couldn't show that I had other issues. My anger now was because of this incident. So I really did check her past very strictly and seriously. Damn it. Everything was just as she said. Many people didn't even know about it. And after her junior year started, Chloe had been rejecting all her suitors, citing her engagement. When we reached her destination, I got off the boat. Because I had no reason to be angry anymore, right? Chloe and Ethan were also very happy. But I acted very cold. Actually, I could be like Ethan, a very mature man. After getting off the boat, Ethan immediately left with a welcoming staff. Chloe pulled me around, happily saying, "Wow, honey, this island is so beautiful." I knew she was trying to cheer me up, but I just replied coldly, it's okay. Honey, the island I designed for us is even more beautiful than this. Chloe continued, ignoring my attitude. Babe, let's take pictures. I handed her phone to her. She handed it back to me. You take them. You can keep my phone from now on. I nodded and casually snapped a few pictures. Chloe glared at me, very angry. But she didn't say anything, still pulled me around for a bit, and then we went into the hotel. This was me, the mature, aloof, cool young man. Sometimes I couldn't figure it out. My dad didn't pass on his height to me, fine. But why didn't he pass on his arousing, hormone-spiking charisma either? Sigh. Blame my mom. My mom was strict with me, yes, but she also spoiled me rotten. Back then, most families only had one kid, who didn't raise their child like a precious treasure. After meeting Ethan, I realized my personality was indeed too childish. 14. At night. Chloe couldn't stand it anymore and finally exploded. Casey Miller, how many times have I told you? Don't use your underwear as a washcloth. Don't use your underwear as a washcloth. Why don't you ever listen? I was about to lose my mind. Wasn't today's stimulation enough? I quickly pushed her out and locked the bathroom door. She kept raging outside the door. Damn it, she even attracted Ethan over. Chloe, are you trying to kill me? It's a family tradition. Underwear and socks must be washed by oneself. I use my underwear as a washcloth. The shower's done, the underwear's washed. What's wrong with that? After my shower, I came out with a dark face. Chloe, are you trying to leave me with no face at all by making such a scene? You use your underwear as a washcloth. Aren't you disgusted? You're doing this on purpose. Fine, assume I'm doing it on purpose. I've explained everything clearly, and you're still sulking. Do you think now that Dad's gone, I can't handle you anymore? Fine, I'll call Mom and let her deal with you. Chloe picked up my phone, which I'd left on the table before my shower, and started dialing. Holy crap. I immediately lunged forward to snatch the phone from her. Ethan retreated, not forgetting to close the door for us. That night, we started a Cold War. But two people living in the same room can't go without saying a word. Sir, could you please turn down the volume? It's disturbing my sleep over here, Chloe said politely from the other side of the bed, as if talking to a stranger. Oh, okay, miss. I'll put on headphones right away. If she could play that game, so could I? After saying that, I suddenly felt a fart coming on, so I let it rip. A moment later, Chloe's voice sounded, Sir, aroma of that emission is a bit strong. Next time, could you perhaps use the restroom? Okay. I turned over, lifted the blanket, and covered her. We'll definitely be more careful next time. Then I farted again. Actually, for a married couple to make up, sometimes all it takes is a fart. Last night's drama went on late. We woke up very late this morning. At breakfast, a staff member came to tell us Ethan had left. He said he was very happy during his time with us. He also said, although he didn't quite understand what I meant when I suggested he try dating a woman, that maybe he'd find women pretty amazing. But he guessed I probably meant he should try to meet other women, try starting a new relationship. Maybe he'd find his true happiness was right in front of him. I pursed my lips and clapped. Well said, honey. Later, wire your classmate $5 million. Sincerely thank him for his help. Chloe didn't answer me. She looked at me suspiciously. I could tell she was also pondering what that sentence really meant. And last night, she had asked me why I suddenly got angry when it seemed like I already knew. Anyway, I was very strange yesterday. Both she and Ethan were completely baffled. Of course, I definitely lied to her last night. This secret, I'm taking it to my grave. End.